Namaskar, I am Parsuram Shukla, Training Associate Economics, KVS ZIT Bhubaneswar. Welcome to my economics class. Today, in my 5th video lesson, I will be discussing with you all value-added method, the methods of measurement of national income. In the previous 4 video lessons, I have discussed with you all what is macroeconomics, basic concepts of macroeconomics, circular flow of income, and the national income related aggregates. If you have missed my video lessons, if you have not watched my video lessons, you may watch it. The link to all the 4 video lessons are given in the description box given below. Today I will be discussing Chapter 5, Methods of Calculating National Income, that is value added method. The contents to be covered in this video lesson: concept of circular flow of income, an overview, methods of measurement of national income, product or value added method. This method will be discussed in this video lesson. Classification of production units, concept of value added, measures of value added, and problem of double counting. The learning objective for this lesson: at the end of this video, you will be able to state the concept of value added, calculate value added, estimate national income by value added method. As you all know, the introduction, why I have kept the introduction here, because maximum or most of the things have been discussed in earlier video lessons. To establish a link between all the 4 video lessons or some video lessons to this video lesson, this introduction is needed. As you have understood, in the circular flow of income, there are 3 phases of the flow of income. In the first phase, income is generated in the production units. We call this phase as the production phase. Production units distribute the income to the factory owners. We call this phase as distribution phase. The factory owners, that is the households, then buy goods and services from the production units. Thus, income finally reaches the point from where it started. We call this phase as expenditure phase. Corresponding to these 3 phases of the circular flow of income, such as production, income, and expenditure, there are 3 methods of measurement of national income. These are production method or value-added method, income method, and expenditure method. All the 3 methods of measurement of national income give the same result. Classification of production units into industrial sectors. Production units of an economy are broadly classified into primary, secondary, and tertiary sectors on the basis of production activities. So, primary sector, all production units producing goods by exploiting natural resources are grouped into primary sector. These include agriculture, animal husbandry, forestry, fishing, mining, quarrying, etc. For example, growing sugarcane on land is a primary sector activity. Catching fish is also a primary sector activity. That means in this sector, the natural resources are used to produce the product. Secondary sector, all production units engaged in transforming one good into another good are grouped into secondary sector. These production units are engaged in activities like manufacturing, construction, electricity generation, water supply, etc. For example, converting sugarcane into sugar is a secondary sector activity. Tertiary sector or service sector. All production units that are engaged in production of services are grouped into tertiary sector. These include production units engaged in producing services like transport, communication, trade, finance, education, health, government administration, etc. For example, selling of sugar by a grocer is a tertiary sector activity. Product or value-added method. This method measures national income in terms of value addition by each producing unit in the economy during the period of 1 year. The concept of value added is the difference between total value of output of a farm or production unit and value of units brought from other farms, that is intermediate consumption. It thus measures the value which the farm concerned has added by its process of production. Thus, value added is equal to value of output minus intermediate consumption. Example, you can understand through an example, very simple example here I am presenting. Suppose a baker buys intermediate products like flour, milk, sugar, etc. worth of rupees 800. He transforms these products into bread. Suppose the market value of bread is rupees 1200. Thus the value of his output is rupees 1200 and the value added by him is rupees 400 because he has purchased the intermediate products of rupees 800 and produced the bread. The value of bread is 1200. So what he added? The 1200 minus 800. How much he added? The rupees 400. Therefore, value added is equal to value of output minus intermediate consumption. Means the consumption of flour, milk, sugar, etc. in this process is intermediate consumption. And the expenditure on these products is intermediate consumption. The difference between value of output and intermediate consumption is gross value added at market price, GVAMP. This value added is gross because depreciation is included in it. Since the value of output is calculated by multiplying quantity with price, the value added will be called at market price. Other measures of value added, net value added at market price. Because in earlier slide we have read gross value added at market price. So the next concept or measure here, net value added at market price, NVAMP. That is, by each producing unit can be estimated by deducting depreciation from gross value added at market price. You might have remembered in the related aggregates concepts, gross value added at market price, that means from gross if we deduct the depreciation we get the net. So GVAMP minus depreciation is equal to NVAMP. The second measure of value added, net value added at factor cost, NVAFC. Since the market price includes net indirect taxes, NVAFC by a production unit can be estimated by deducting net indirect taxes from NVAMP, that is net value added at market price. Thus NVAFC is equal to NVAMP minus net indirect taxes. You might have remembered the difference between the market price and factor cost. In the earlier video lessons I have presented and you have understood, market price minus net indirect tax is equal to factor cost. Net value added at factor cost is always equals factor payments. How it is? Net value added at factor cost equals factor payments. So value added is a measure of contribution of a production unit to domestic product of the country. The value is added by 4 factors of production who have collectively produced a good or service. So NVAFC, net value added at factor cost, belongs to them. That means net value added at factor cost belongs to all the 4 factors of production which have contributed their factor services to produce the output. The production unit thus distributes the net value added at factor cost, this net value added at factor cost, among the owners of factors of production in the form of wages, rent, interest and profits. So net value added at factor cost must necessarily be equal to factor payments. That is, net value added at factor cost is equal to wages plus rent plus interest plus profits. That is factor payments. That means these 4 payments are factor payments. So NVA at factor cost, net value added at factor cost is equal to factor payments. What is value of output? What is value of output? Value of output of a farm is the quantity produced by it during a year multiplied by the per unit market price. Repeat, value of output of a farm is the quantity produced by it during a year multiplied by the per unit market price. Therefore, value of output is always measured at market prices. If the entire output of the year is sold, during the year, then value of output is equal to sales. If some output remains unsold, it may happen, some output may remain unsold, it is added to the firm's inventory stock. That means it is added to the stock. It is expressed as change in stock. That is change in stock during the year. In such a situation, value of output is measured as the sum total of sales during the year and change in stock during the year. That is, value of output is equal to sales plus change in stock if output remain unsold during the year. That is the condition. Value of output is equal to sales plus change in stock. So the next concept is change in stock. It is calculated by subtracting the opening stock from the closing stock for the given year. If change in stock is positive, it implies that sale in the current year is less than production of the year and some output has been added to the stock of outputs. If change in stock is negative, it implies that sale in the year is more than the production in the year. Thus, some stock of previous years has been sold in the current year. This needs to be deducted to get the correct estimate of the output that has been produced in the current year. Thus, change in stock is equal to closing stock minus opening stock. One more way of finding out the value of output. What is that? Value of output can also be found by taking the sum of all expenses incurred by a firm on factory inputs. For example, land, labor, capital, etc. and non-factory inputs, that is raw materials, fuel, etc. I repeat, value of output can also be found by taking the sum of all expenses incurred by the firm on factory inputs, that is on land, labor, capital and enterprise, and non-factory inputs, that is raw material, fuels, etc. Payments to factory inputs is made in the form of rent, wage, interest and profit, and expenditure on non-factory input is called intermediate consumption. Besides factor payments and intermediate consumption, payment of taxes and cost of depreciation are also added. The sum total of all these cost items gives us the value of output. Subsidy, if any, given by the government to firm is subtracted as it reduces the cost of production. Value of output thus can be expressed as value of output is equal to all the four factor payments, rent, wage, interest and profit, plus the intermediate consumption, plus the indirect taxes, minus the subsidies and plus depreciation. So value of output can also be found out in this way. What is intermediate consumption? It refers to money value of raw material used in the process of production. Value added method and national income. Now comes to the estimation of national income by value added method. Steps. What are the steps to be followed? Let us now look at the steps that are undertaken to measure national income by value added method. There are three steps. Now the step 1, identification and classification of production units. First of all the production units within the domestic territory are classified into three broad sectors based on the type of economic activity performed by them. These distinct sectors are primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. I remind all of you here that economy can be divided into various sectors on the basis of different criteria. But in this aspect, the economy has been divided into three sectors on the basis of economic activity. That means the production units of the entire economy within the domestic territory have been divided into primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. The reference has already been made in this presentation in the previous slides, the primary sector and secondary sector and tertiary sector. So these are the three sectors which have been divided on the basis of economic activity they perform in the economy. That is, first step to identify, first step to do here is identification and classification of production units. Then the step 2, estimate the net domestic product at factor cost, that is equal to net value added at factor cost of each industrial sector, that is each production unit, that is industrial sector like primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector is estimated. Then taking the sum of net value added at factor cost of all the industrial sectors, that is primary, secondary and tertiary sectors of the economy, will arrive at the NDP at factor cost. That is NVA at factor cost is equal to NDP at factor cost. So this is what written over here, NVFC is equal to NDPFC. Then the step 3, after identification and classification of production units and estimation of the output, that is the value added, in the step 3, estimate net factory income from abroad, because we are concerned with the national income. So up to now, up to step 2, we have calculated or estimated the domestic product. Now estimate the net factory income from abroad. The net factory income from abroad is estimated. NFIA, that is net factory income from abroad, is added to NDP at factor cost to arrive at the national income. It was discussed in the national income and related aggregates in the previous video lessons. National income, that is NNP at factor cost, is equal to NDP at factor cost plus NFIA. Then significance of this value added method. Value added or income generated is very significant in computation of national income, because it is not the value of output but net value added at factor cost by the various producing units, which is taken into account while calculating national income. To be remembered very clearly, it is not the value of output, rather the net value added at factor cost by various producing units, which is taken into account while calculating the national income. It is net value added at factor cost by an enterprise which is distributed among factors of production as remuneration for their contribution in the production process in the form of wages, rent, interest and profit. Value added approach avoids the problem of double counting. Value added approach avoids the problem of double count. Then the precautions to be followed while estimating the domestic product as well as and the national product by value added method. The following precautions are required to be taken while measuring the national income by product or value added method. The sale and purchase of second hand goods should not be included in the national income. The value of production for self consumption should be included because it contributes to current output. The value is imputed as it is not sold in the market. That means had this product been not consumed by the family members or self, then it would have been sold out in the market. So keeping that in mind, the imputed value, that is the expected value, if it would have been sold in the market, so it would have been its value. So that expected or imputed value has to be taken into account for the estimation of national product or domestic product. Imputed rent of owner-occupied houses should be included. Own account production of fixed capital by households, firms and government should be included. Domestic services are not included in national income. However, production of such services by paid servants will be included. Double counting needs to be avoided. There is a possibility that output of a good or service may be counted more than once. This will lead to overestimation of national income. The problem of double counting, you have to be clear about the problem of double counting. The product method of estimating national income might lead to problem of double counting. Double counting, what does it mean? Double counting means counting of the value of the same product or expenditure more than once in calculating the national income. As the original good comes into different processes and passes many stages, so there is always danger that its value may be included at every stage and result may be double count. This happens because we fail to distinguish between final goods or final sales and intermediate goods or intermediate sales. So this is very important. If we fail to distinguish between these two, then there may be possibility of double counting. As far as an individual entrepreneur is concerned, it sells its goods as final goods and treats its sales as final sales. Example, suppose Farm A produces raw cotton, assuming that it uses no intermediate inputs and sells it for rupees 800 to Farm B. Farm B converts it into cotton yarn and sells it for rupees 1200 to Farm C. Farm C manufactures cotton cloth and sells it for rupees 2000 to Farm D. Farm D produces garments and sells them for rupees 3000 to final consumers. The total value of all these outputs or gross output is rupees 7000. How it is? Now 800, that is, this is 800, then 1200, this is 1200, then 2000, this is 2000, then 3000, in which raw cotton has been counted 4 times, cotton yarn 3 times, and cotton cloth 2 times. But the value of final goods is just rupees 3000. You see, the value of final good is 3000, whereas value of all these outputs, because every individual farm treats its product as final product for him or her. Therefore, in this way, if you count, so the total value will be rupees 7000. But final product is what? The final product is the garment. So garment's value is the final value, that is rupees 3000. So how can we avoid the problem of double counting? There are 2 ways of avoiding double count. Take the value of final goods only. That first step, first way is take the value of final goods only. Value of only final goods should be added to determine the national income. That means we have to remember that we have to take the value of final goods for the estimation of national income. In the given example, value of garments of rupees 3000 sold to final consumers should be taken in the national income. The number 2 way is adopt value added method to avoid the problem of double count. Accordingly, in this method, sum total of the value added by each production unit should be taken in the national income. Sum total of value added by each production unit should be taken in the national income. In the given example, value added by Farm A is rupees 800. Why? Because intermediate consumption, because Farm A has not used any raw material to produce its output. So its value of output is equal to value added, that is rupees 800. Farm B, value addition is rupees 400 because Farm B has produced 1200, but whereas it has brought 800, purchased 800. So addition is 400. Like Farm C, also for Farm C the value addition is 800, that is 2000 minus 1200. 1200 is the intermediate consumption and 2000 is the value of output for Farm C. Like Farm D, likewise Farm D's value addition is 1000 because value of output for Farm D is 3000 and the intermediate consumption for Farm D is 2000. The sum total of these values addition comes to rupees 3000, that is 800 plus 400 plus 800 plus 1000, which is equal to the value of final good, which should be included in the national income. So remember, sum of value added should be equal to the value of final good. To avoid the problem of double counting, we have to take the value of final product, or we have to take the sum total of value added. Then there is a test for all of you. So please see this test to refresh your memory. You can note it down in your copy. Contribution of a production unit to national income is. So you see, value of output minus intermediate consumption, value of output minus depreciation, value of output minus intermediate consumption, minus depreciation, value of output minus intermediate consumption, minus depreciation, minus net indirect taxes. That means contribution of a production unit to national income. Which one is included in the secondary sector of an economy? So from these, insurance, manufacturing, trade and banking. Which one is included in the primary sector of the economy? Agriculture, manufacturing, construction, all of these. Then number 4, which of the following is not included in the calculation of national income? Purchase and sale of old commodities, intermediate goods. A and B both are neither A nor B. Only dash goods are included to avoid double counting in national income. Final goods, intermediate goods, capital goods, consumer goods. If a farmer sells wheat to miller for rupees 2000 and miller sells flour to baker rupees 2400 and baker sells bread to consumers for 2700, then total value added by all the producers, assuming rupees 1200 as the intermediate costs of the farmer. So what will be the answer here? Net value added at factory cost, NVA at factory cost is given by, out of these which one is correct? Value of output minus intermediate consumption, GBMP minus depreciation, NVAMP minus net indirect tax, none of these. So I hope you might have done. So let us check the answer. So answer key, the option given in red ink is the right answer. Contribution of a production unit to national income, that is value of output minus intermediate consumption, minus depreciation, minus net indirect. So just you refresh your memory, value of output, that is gross value of output, that is at the market price, minus intermediate consumption, what will be here? Gross value added at market price, minus depreciation, so gross value added at market price, minus depreciation will be net value added at market price. So net value added at market price minus net indirect taxes. So that will be net value added at factory cost, that is NDP at factory cost. Then that is the domestic income. Okay. Which one is included in the secondary sector of an economy? Insurance, that is correct answer is manufacturing, that is secondary sector. Insurance is service, trade is a service, banking is a service. So it is the part of tertiary sector. Which one is included in the primary sector? Agriculture. And whereas manufacturing, construction are the part of secondary sector. Then which of the following is not included in the calculation of national income? Purchase and sale of old commodities, intermediate goods. Both A and B are not included. Only dash goods are included to avoid double counting in national income. Only final goods are included to avoid double counting. If a farmer sells wheat to miller is 2000, miller sells to baker is 2400, baker sells to consumer, that is the bread is sold to consumer rupees 2700, then the total value added by all the producers assuming 1200. So you see, farmer sells wheat to miller at 2000. So assuming the intermediate consumption is given here, so 2000 minus 1200 is what? 800. And miller sells flour to that is baker, that is what? 2400. So what will be the addition here? 400, and like that 2400, and what is the addition here? 2700. Then the total value added. So if you add the value total value added in each stage, that will be rupees 1500. Net value added at factory cost is given by net value added at market price minus net indirect taxes. Market price minus net indirect tax, that is factory. I hope you might have done all the questions correctly. Then for all of you, there are some questions as homework. Define value added. What is intermediate consumption? What do you understand by problem of double counting? How can it be avoided? When is value of output equals to value added? What is the rationale for not taking into account the value of intermediate goods in the measure of GDP, that is gross domestic product? Do you include the value of retained goods for self-consumption in the national income? So you might be seeing here 1 mark like that, 3 marks or 4 marks. So these are the pattern of questions asked in the board examination. You write down the answers and check the answers from the video, because all the things have been presented in the video. Please give your feedback to the mail ID parsuram.shukla@gmail.com. My WhatsApp number is 99386494454. I hope you are benefited by these educational videos. So kindly like, share and subscribe so that the next videos reach you immediately. See you all with my next video on the topic methods of calculating national income by income method. Thank you. Thanks for watching my video. I hope to see you all in my next video. Thank you.